I just saw a video of a white woman standing in the middle of the road here in Dallas during the protest because the police blocked off the road for them because the crowd was so big. I I know, but that one kind of felt like a slap in the face, I'm not gonna lie. I'm not wishing anything on anybody, but in 2020, when we were protesting, I went to a protest where you literally could not set foot on the road without being arrested.
While I was listening to her video, it reminded me of this picture right here. A black woman in a dress walking on the street. And this is the response they gave her. We are, even when we are peaceful. This is why the black community is saying that they're trying to bait us into the streets because they want to enact violence on us so that he can declare martial law so that he could become king. Us sitting home is not only helping the black community rest, but it's also saving America. Even when we don't do anything, we still help America. But man, seeing all those protests yesterday, what was it, like 1,400? Not be met with the same police force and violence does make black people go, see, y'all mother hate us. Y'all do. We know this, but seeing it, it's a whole different vibe.
Hey fam, welcome back to Trending Pulse Worldwide, and if you're new here, I'm glad you found this space, so go ahead and hit that subscribe button and turn on the bell so you never miss a real conversation. And to my returning crew, welcome back y'all, and you already know we get into the stories others tiptoe around, and today we are diving into a protest that's got black folks talking and hurting, not because of what went wrong, but because of how right it went. This protest, y'all, it was too peaceful. No tear gas, no riot, no shoving, no chaos. The police were calm, composed, and even helpful. You had people walking around like it was a festival, and some even joking about wanting a bouncy house. And watching that, it just didn't sit right. Because for many black Americans, the first thought was, if that had been us, it would have been a completely different story. And I feel that in my soul. So before I continue this, let's check out and see what they have to say about all this conversation. And I'll be back and we can talk about it in full.
To see that lady talking about how they need more child-friendly activities at protests is telling. It's very telling. Because I remember back in 2020, them protests, when it was a black cause, majority black folks out there protesting. This was Raleigh, North Carolina. I remember the tanks and the snipers being in position before we even got outside. You see what I'm saying? And now there's no rubber bullets flying around. There's no fear of somebody getting shot. There's no fear of tear gas and getting arrested for peacefully protesting. It's clear to see the difference in how the police is aggressive with black protests. You see what I'm saying? And this is why this time around you had black folks like myself included, saying, nah, black folks, stay at home. It's not our fight. I mean, it's our fight, but stay at home. Let's sit back. Let's let them carry the weight this time. Because I feared for our safety based on the 2020 protests. But apparently white folks can get out there and they feel so safe and there's no danger to the point where they think they need a bouncy house, a merry-go-round, and some slides for the kids. I don't know, man. I don't know. But this is why I say I agree with protesting with your attention and your dollar. Obviously, do what you want, do what you think is necessary. I just want us to be safe at the end of the day.
So there's some things with these protests that I'd like to address and kind of talk about. But before I do that, I just want to acknowledge and say that white people, I'm so proud of you right now. The ones with some sense that are doing something. I really am, because I know despite being scared, despite not knowing what will happen, y'all are still showing up and y'all are still showing out and making a difference, making your voice heard. And I think that is something that is amazing and worth celebrating. So I'm going to take a second to do that. I hope this is something that is invigorating for people, is empowering, and builds momentum to keep it going, because I don't want this one protest or these protests today to be something that dies out because you don't see immediate action from it. These things take time, and each moment of protest, whether it be something big like this or something more granular or something more you do from home, like boycotting and calling and things like that, all of that is a part of a greater movement that actually makes change. So it's these moments in time over an extended period of time that makes a difference. So please don't be discouraged. Please look at this as the win that it is. So, but aside from that, there's some things that I've noticed about how these protests have been happening today. Now, they're still actively happening right now. So that's the thing. But I've seen some people be like, well, y'all were blowing things out of proportion. Like, y'all were talking about this, but like, it's not actually happening. And I kind of want to talk about that because one, I personally have not pushed the narrative of martial law, mainly because I don't know if that'll actually happen or the likelihood of it happening. That's not something I feel personally comfortable talking about. So I haven't done that. But what I have done is talked about how it's still dangerous for us being Black people, to go out still and protest right now, especially under an administration that doesn't care about rules. So I've seen some people say like, oh, these are super chill. Like, what were people talking about? Like, what was such an issue or whatever. That is partially, if not almost entirely, because we're not there. And that's not to say it won't happen. I don't want it to, okay? I do not want it to. But a lot of times, I don't know if y'all remember, but a lot of times with the protests back in 2020, they would get really crazy at night. That was when things got real. So that was a thing. Again, I don't want that to be a thing, but that's part of it. The other thing too is when I was talking about and saying that it is not safe for us to go out right now, I sincerely mean that. Like the actual act of us collectively in mass being out and visible in that way, unfortunately invites violence. So martial law or not, there's this inherent danger for us to be present. If we're not present, it is less likely to be escalated. It's less likely to be agitation. We've seen that already. That's partially why we're encouraging primarily white people to be the ones to go out and do these protests. That's like the whole point. All this advice and stuff is to help in case it does escalate. Because again, we cannot predict how this administration is going to act and how it's going to be carried out in local settings. So it's more of a better safe than sorry thing.
One sister in the video said it clear as day. They weren't violent because we weren't there. That's the kind of statement that hits deep. Because it's not a theory, it's experience. We've seen peaceful Black protesters met with rubber bullets, beaten down, tear gassed, handcuffed, silenced. Not because they were violent, but because they were Black. And this peaceful protest, it put a spotlight on that double standard. It's painful because this wasn't just a protest, it was proof of the racial gap in how protests are policed, proof that when you strip away Blackness from the crowd, suddenly the system knows how to act right. Suddenly, they remember how to keep the peace. And Black folks watching this weren't just angry. They were heartbroken, tired, emotionally drained because this isn't new. But every time it happens again, it's another reminder that our lives are treated like a threat before we even speak. Now, some people are even saying we need to stay home, protect ourselves. Don't even put your body on the line for this kind of protest. And while that might sound extreme, can you blame them? They're not scared of the protest. They're scared of the system, the one that turns a peaceful demonstration into a war zone the second melanin shows up. And the sad truth, this protest confirmed what many Black people have been saying for decades. The system isn't broken. It was built to work against us. And when the white folks protest, they get calm police and clear skies. But when we do, we get cracked skulls and curfews. That contrast, that double standard, that is what is hurting so many people right now. Anyway, listen, I don't even know what else to say except this isn't okay, and it never was. But seeing it so clearly side by side, peaceful versus punished, just makes it hit even harder. Anyway, What do you think about this whole conversation? Drop your thoughts in the comments. I'm listening. And please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more honest conversations like this one. Because if we don't talk about it, who will? And with that said, stay safe, stay aware, and keep pushing forward. I'll catch you all in the next one. Bye.